Oh,
Yes, it has been so hot. I am so grateful that the rain broke it.
yes. The humidity was not fun, but at least we're over it.
Yeah, it's done. It's true. It's gone. I hope. We'll see. We'll see what happens next week.
Oh God, yes. Let's not jinx it, right?
All right, we are now officially recording and live. So Matt, you are welcome to start the meeting anytime.
Oh, I didn't. So I thought we're not co-chairs anymore, are we?
No, no, not technically.
Bummer. Such a bummer. This is my first meeting I've ever chaired, by the way. So just gonna have to like help me walk through it. Okay. Well, welcome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, welcome. We have started at 6:31. Very excited about it. And Catherine and Stacy, we're gonna start the meeting. Is there anybody, by the way, is there anybody else in like anybody else?
Yeah, we've got one attendee, Ren. Let me make you co-host so that if you need to mute or unmute people, you can. But hi, Ren. Welcome.
All right. I'm excited Brendan's with us. Okay. So our first thing is to review and approve the committee minutes. Right? I'm not missing anything, Catherine, right? That's nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So can I get a motion to approve?
Catherine, so you'd read the motion, you will read motion A, and then you'll ask for a first and a second.
Got it. See, I'm no good without you. So motion A is to approve the Greater Toluca Lake Neighborhood Council of July 13th, 2022 Outreach and Election Committee minutes. Do I have a first?
Catherine will first.
Great. And a second?
I'll second.
Fantastic. We can start discussion. Do I have any discussion?
I think they're good.
I also think it's great. Okay. So can I have a vote? Catherine, how do you vote?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not. Oh, that's not what you were.
I'm gonna just mute you, Ren. Stacy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, as do I. It looks like it has passed.
So that is a vote of 3-0-0.
Yes, thank you.
Great.
You. Okay, so our next item is public comment. Ren, are you, would you like to speak? I don't see you raising.
Not at this point. I'm still trying to get myself set up here a little bit.
Okay.
You got it. You got it. Okay, great. So no, and I don't see anybody else. So unless does our committee have any news or announcements or anything that we'd like to share?
I do not.
Nope.
Cool. Okay. So ongoing business. So this would be discussion and potential action, which would be the branded outreach giveaways, which I'm very excited about. So Catherine found some really fantastic tote bags, and we want to approve us to spend up to $850 for 250 logo branded tote bags for outreach. They're really cool. Really, really cool. Stacey, did you have a chance to take a look?
Do you want me to screen share?
Oh, I would love
to. See
to.
if I can.
I think I can.
Yeah.
That would be awesome if you wouldn't mind. Then we can show everybody.
Sure. Okay. So I brought them up.
Great.
Okay, so these are the tote bags. And Matt, were you planning to get them in green or in like the taupe with the green straps?
I mean, it's up to us, I guess. I like the green, but I like them both. They're both.
So I'm fairly certain that I have one of these with the Toluca Lake logo on it in this color.
Okay. So why don't we switch it up a little bit and go green?
Oh, I'm so sorry. We should probably actually read the motion, ask a first and second to open discussion.
Okay. So great. So then the motion is to approve up to $850 for 250 GTLNC logo branded tote bags for outreach giveaways. Sorry, I know I read that, but I didn't actually ask for a vote.
Yeah.
So do I have a first?
Catherine will first.
Great.
I'll second.
Done. So now we can open it up for conversation. So that's what they are. And I mean, I'm fine with the green, but truly it doesn't matter to me. I just think they're really great to hand out. And I think this will be something that people actually want to use. Do you guys have anything you want to chat about before I open it up to Ren or Jonathan?
Yeah, the only thing that I would flag is in case we wanted to have any different style of tote bag. I like this one. It's nice because it does have that little pocket. There are also ones that like fold away into a little pouch so you can throw them in, a purse more easily, but they're not as like, this one's great for groceries. This one's often called like a shopper bag. Like it's good if you're just picking up a little bit, but not a whole grocery run, and there are similar ones at other sites too.
I like the tote bag that you can just carry into the store. I think that, also people will see it. And that's the whole purpose of this too, is we want people to see it, to get excited about it.
Yeah.
Great. Stacey?
Yeah, I was going to say, when it looks like that, people are going to want to carry it out.
Yep. I think so. And I think this would be a really great thing also to pass out at the next farmers market that we have a table at, or whatever it is. I think these are really great. And all of us should have it too. All of us should have it. I think it's a great thing to have. I want to carry this into Trader Joe's right now.
I have.
Yeah, that's right. You have them. Yeah, I don't have one. So, okay. So should I open this up then to Jonathan?
Yeah.
Great. So Jonathan, Ren, do you guys have anything you want to say about this? I don't see any hands.
My only comment, I guess, is that I've got a lot of these kind of bags over the years. So but I did keep my Toluca Lake bag. I've tossed others along the way. But it could be something that people would prefer. In other words, they would use our bag rather than any of the others they have from other sources. So I don't think it's a bad idea to give these out and keep our name out there.
Yeah. Well, how this came about, by the way, Ren, was that we were talking about how we can get more people to run for election next year. And so that was we were thinking about having, I think we talked about this at the last meeting, but having a table at the farmer's market and then handing these out, right? So that people could be excited about running or at least voting, if nothing else, or coming to vote. So that's kind of how this came up. And that's where we are. Okay.
Yeah. Short of buying a big billboard somewhere or several across the community. Yeah, this is within our budget.
I mean, how much does a billboard cost? Do we know? No idea.
Well, that's a good question. I think at one point we looked at it and it was, hundreds and hundreds of dollars a week to buy at least a month, I think. But don't quote me on that. I would definitely reach out and see, because it may be worth it. A billboard, where everybody kind of drives up and down. I don't know which one would be the best, but where people are driving up and down and they, run for the, neighborhood council election, the date, the time. We're looking for potential candidates. You have to be a resident and or a stakeholder, and maybe some information about what a stakeholder is, and go from there. And see what we charge. And it doesn't, maybe it wouldn't be a full, one of the great big billboards. Maybe there's smaller ones that we could put out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be worthwhile. I think we were looking at in either October or November having a funding motion to for whatever paid outreach we're hoping to do in the actual election season, because we do have our election date, which for some reason is Thursday, June 22nd of next year, which is the last of the neighborhood council elections. So we've got a little bit of time on that clock, but yeah, we should definitely get the funding set earlier rather than later, so that if there's lead time for any purchases to make, we can fit it in.
Yeah, good. And our timing needs to be kind of right on just before the actual election.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really not going to leave us any
Nope.
organized, but plenty of time to get the word out.
Yeah, I see Jonathan's hand up. Jonathan, go ahead.
If Rain is done, he's finished.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks. I would just give some of my thoughts. What I'm hoping to see come out of the outreach committee would be a monthly reporting of how many inscriptions we have on the newsletter and how many hits we have to the website each month, in a plan to increase those. So publicity and other sorts of expenditures somehow has to fold into that, because I think readership is a form of participation. Certainly we can't have 5,000 people participating in the meetings, but I don't think we're hitting the target on having people read. Another thing I would add is that we seem not to be suffering a lack of interest in the 2 occasions that we've solicited for people to run, to be available to serve on the board. I'm remembering it was either 11 or 13 people showed up when there were 2 places, and now we have a multiple for another place. So that doesn't, I think that people care enough about the community to be willing to step forward for whatever their reasons, which is good.
Okay. Is this about the bags?
Any form of publicity, I think, is good, but it has to fold into the priority as to what the goal is. So yes, of course, it has to do with the expenditure of $850, is how does it contribute to the goal of increasing community participation. We are not having the trouble lately in the past year to get people to run for the board. One last thing is, I suddenly realized in this week's meeting that we actually may not have enough money to do, Rain can address this also, it came up in the plum committee, that our budget might be stressed to meet the expectations. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, I will say we had 2 applicants for the at-large position this time, so technically multiple.
Actually, I submitted and was not, because I said I wouldn't run for treasurer. I, for some reason, was not suggested to be considered running.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did submit, because I didn't want to take your position, but I did submit, and for some reason, Colby didn't have me on there.
Okay. Well, setting that aside, do we want to go ahead and vote on the bags?
Yes, I would. But also, there is one thing. I totally agree, Jonathan. I do think that we could get monthly updates on the number of hits to the website. I think that's actually a really good idea. So I can ask for that. I think that's great. Okay, well, let's take a vote. So the motion is to approve up to $850 for 250 GTLNC logo branded tote bags for outreach giveaways. Excuse me. Catherine, how do you vote?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
As do I. So it has passed 3-0 to 0.
Yeah, so what happens now is this will be up for the actual vote at the meeting. Is it next week, next Tuesday, for the general board to vote? Nothing that happens in this committee other than approving the committee minutes is final.
Okay.
All right.
Fantastic. Okay, so this is up for next week. Thank you. That's my first, by the way, as chair, that's my first vote. I'm proud of it. Okay, so the next conversation is the 2023 neighborhood council elections and the planning, outreach strategy, and calendar. So how do you want to do this, Catherine?
Well, I can put up the election dates if that would be helpful.
Sure.
Let me grab those. So these just got released recently by the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. All right. Once again, going to share screen. Okay, so this is the kind of lengthy version of it, but essentially the big dates to flag are that the candidate filing period is between February 22nd and April 8th of next year. And then the certified list gets released April 23rd. Vote by mail application period begins that same day. And then the vote by mail application period ends June 3rd. Now, election day is June 22nd, and it is hybrid. So you can vote by mail, but there will also be in-person voting next year, unlike last year. So yeah, you can mail or you can go in person to vote that Thursday.
We have a location identified yet?
We have requested Harmony Church as our location. Harmony has agreed to it, but we're waiting for the city of LA to officially say, yes, that will be your location. But we're hopeful that since that is the one we selected, it will be.
Right. And we have backups too if we need it, but I can't.
Yes.
I can't see why that wouldn't be allowed. That would not be the location.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So what else do we want? Is there anything else we want to talk about for this?
I mean, I think at this point, there were some ideas discussed about what kind of outreach would be most effective for getting people aware of the election and also getting people interested in running. So, if we want to have this conversation this month to see what options we'd like to explore to bring a funding motion next month or in November, we can have that conversation, or we can switch to something else.
Well, I mean, I'm fine having this conversation. Is that okay, Stacy? Do we lose you?
I was sorry, I'm here. Yes.
All right. And because also because Ren was just talking about a billboard. So I figure, why don't we chat about it a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, some options, we did one time do mailers, which were pretty expensive. They were a couple $1,000s ultimately. And I think they can be effective, but they are also, there's a ton of junk mail that people just ignore. So I don't know if having a physical billboard in the area would be a more effective use of a couple $1,000s.
I have an idea. I don't know if it would be something, it was just something I thought of. If let's say we teamed up with the chamber for an event, like, a street event, like they have, the holidays or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And, we could say that we're co-sponsoring it because we want to get people to learn about the council and, convince people to run, because obviously these would be people that would be interested in the community if they're coming out for a community event, as compared to a billboard. The only problem I have with a billboard here in Toluca Lake is we're so used to seeing the, studios billboards.
Yeah.
Would our billboard be completely ignored? And if we team up with the chamber and it's, it would be stores in the neighborhood that people are used to going in. And, maybe we would have, if it's co-sponsored, we would have flyers that would be in their stores that they could notice.
Yeah, I mean, I think were you thinking that we would create an event or try to partner with them on something that they are already doing?
Well, if they would let us partner with something they're already doing, it would be less work for us and it would help them out. Or we could do another event. I mean, we could do a solo event with that, like a new event that they haven't done.
Yeah, I wish that Ren, sorry, you have your hand up.
Yeah, a couple of things. I think we can sort of chime in on various events. I don't think we would need to pay anything to be, in other words, we don't need to be a co-sponsor or something for an event to have a table. We need to get some, volunteers to be at the table, hand out information about the elections when they're coming, how to run for a position, a description. We have to have a written description of what it means to be on the neighborhood council. It's not a, once a month kind of meeting thing. It's really a commitment. So we need to describe that, I think, but get people thinking about it as early as the turkey trot and then the, other things that are happening in the spring. The mailing, a comment on the mailing, we went through an elaborate process to do a mailing to everybody in the community. And I don't think we got much in the way of a turnout increase, if you will, from that. I mean, I think our neighborhood council elections have brought out a relatively small number of people. In fact, in my sense, a very small number of people. And I think we need to try some other techniques, but I don't think the mailer worked particularly. And it may have been the timing, it may have been the wording, the formatting, et cetera, but the results weren't great. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I will say, when it came to the survey that most of the candidates filled out for our most recent board opening or board vacancy, almost half of them, or actually I think exactly half of them, said that the way that they found out was talking to a board member. So I think that, getting in touch with the chamber sooner rather than later, getting us a spot at the turkey trot to, have a presence there would be the biggest help. The physical presence that we're going to start doing at the farmers market, I think all of it helps get people aware, because, the reality is, as Ren said, there are a handful of people that are aware of neighborhood council and participate, whether it's attending meetings or voting. And it's a small and, at the moment, relatively finite group. So if we can get out there physically, that's probably going to be the most effective thing.
We still have our pop-up, don't we?
Yes.
Good. Okay. I hadn't seen it anywhere for, of course, with COVID and stuff. Why that's.
Yeah, it's in rough shape and it probably needs replacement at some point, but it does exist.
Yeah, but that's exactly the kind of thing that, when you're at some event where there are a lot of pop-ups and so forth, and you just, as people walk around, they stop and talk, and that's the perfect place to get people interested.
Yeah,
You know,
Um,
oh, sorry.
no, you go, Matt.
Well, I was just thinking in terms of like, an ad instead of the mailers too, because I don't think the mailers do much and they are expensive. We could take out, the Toluca Lake magazine. Everybody that I'm friends with the neighbor, they all get it, they all look at it. So we could always ask to see if we could take out an ad or if they give us an ad in there.
Yeah,
That would
I
be
think that would be great.
Because for sure people open that up. Like that's a guarantee people are looking at that for sure. Okay.
What about getting an interview done with them, like getting to know some of the members of the council?
That's a good idea. Okay, you know what? I can reach out to him. I'll reach out to the publisher.
Yeah, we have a couple of folks that are terming out. I think it would be, we need to be careful not to promote specific people that are running, but for people that are not running again, maybe doing a little highlight of them and their service over the years.
That's great.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea. Okay, I'll reach out. I forgot his name, but he's, I'll reach out to him.
Question on the turkey trot. Is it the chamber or the homeowners association? Because I know the homeowners association is also doing a turkey trot.
It might be HOA.
Because we could definitely team with them.
Yeah, because I feel like it was Carrie that was working on it the other year. So yeah, it's probably homeowners, not chamber.
Yeah, I think it's homeowners.
And she's awesome.
So Matt, are you also able to reach out to whoever is the current HOA president?
It is Carrie.
I don't actually know the HOA president. Do you know Carrie, Stacy?
I just dealt with her because I recently collected over 100 cards for 101 cards for when we turned 101.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so she wound up flocking the house of the woman for free, and the woman loved it. It was great, and she helped. I did not hear from the chamber, and it was an August event, so, but it went really well, and it was like I was surprised how wonderful our community sent cards to this woman who lives in. She's 101 and has lived in the same house on San Cola for over 70 years, but that's a whole other story. But yeah. I dealt with Carrie with that, and she's just really, I like her a lot.
Do you mind reaching out?
No, not at all.
Cool.
Awesome.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, I actually, I had an idea as we were talking about, like if let's say we teamed up with the chamber, how about we have one member of the council at each different store? So this way, instead of us having one table, we could just have someone at a store and people could ask questions there, like get to know your council member.
I think that would be interesting, but I worry that they would just seem like a person standing there as opposed to something official that someone would want to approach. If that makes sense, like they might get overlooked by the crowd.
True.
Oh, well, we can be handing out those tote bags and then people might talk to us.
People like free things, yeah.
They each get like 10 or 12 bags and we could put the information in there.
Yeah. All right. So sounds like Matt, you are going to reach out to Toluca Lake Magazine. Stacy, you're going to reach out to Homeowners Association about the turkey trot. We'll start there.
That's a great idea. Okay. Is there anything else, Ryan or Jonathan, you want to bring up?
On the election?
Yeah.
No, I think it's, good work, you guys. It'll take a plan, and I think you're on your way. Luckily, we've got till June, but long before that, we need to get people interested in running and getting the community out. Because I'd really like to see a much higher turnout of residents in our election.
Yeah.
Agreed. Okay. Okay. So the next item is working session updates to the website.
So I'll share my screen really quickly. I worked with Colby over the August, we'll call it the August recess, to make some updates to the website. So we now have up at the top on the homepage, there's a link to Zoom, and there's also a button at the top of every page in the top menu to the Zoom. So it'll be easier for people to find. And we created a page for all of the meeting agendas and documents to be, easily findable. And you can jump to the archive for all the past documents and agendas as well. So we're hoping that'll help make it a little bit easier for people to find the meeting materials. And we are still trying to figure out how to keep the documents available longer, to keep these on here until the end of the time period as opposed to until the start, but we haven't solved that problem yet. One thing that I was going to suggest maybe we could look into is if there's a way for this scheduling thing to have not just the scroll of the next 3 meetings, but have just a calendar here that people could see what's coming up for the whole month and click on them to get more information on each thing.
Yeah.
I just want to say that your updates were amazing. I used the Zoom in order to easily get into this meeting, and I was able to check the agenda really easily. So, and I didn't know that that was an update, but congratulations. It was amazing and it worked really well.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, seriously, Catherine, this is really awesome. Thank you. You did a phenomenal job. Really phenomenal job.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of work to do this. So
Yeah. The other big thing that I've been wanting to do with the website for a while is, for our resources, we've got community resources, but I was also hoping to create an FAQ. And so my recommendation to this committee is that we ask each committee to maybe submit a few questions that they regularly get. And then figure out the answers to those questions and have them in an FAQ. I mean, obviously there are the common ones, like what is a CIS and how does it work? Community impact statement, and what is an NPG? How would I apply for it for neighborhood purpose grants? But I'm sure there are other things that people would like to have more information on. So that would be a recommendation I have for further updates.
okay. So do we add that to the conversation next week at the meeting?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be great if we could ask all of the committee chairs, and I think you can email them directly to make this request as well, if you wanted to.
Okay. I like that idea a lot.
So yeah, I don't know if you guys want to want me to click around on this to show what we've got on here. We do now have a little drop down for the committees, so it's easier to find the actual committee that you're looking for. You don't have to click twice.
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of you
Yeah, seriously.
because you did a lot in a month.
Yeah, I want to go back on and scroll through all of this and see what's here now. But it's a good way to get people to come back to it who haven't looked at it for a while. This is good.
Yeah, and I think any other suggestions for how to improve the website, I think the committee would love to hear, right?
One thing that it was the only thing I wasn't able to do is if there's a way to add where you could click on the calendar and it'll add the event to your calendar, if that makes sense. You know, like sometimes when you make an appointment on a website, you can click on that and it'll add.
Yeah.
That's the only, I don't know if that's easy or hard. I could also help you like look into the tech of it to see.
Yeah, I have no idea if it's difficult with, so they use a little plugin called Calendarize It, I think. So I have no idea if there is a simple way to just have it add to your calendar, but
Is it WordPress or?
this is WordPress, and the plugin that they use specifically is called Calendarize It. So I'll, Matt, maybe if you want to talk to Colby about asking TYS whether that is possible.
Sure. Absolutely.
Great.
Are you gonna next week at the meeting? Are you gonna share this, or do you want me to share it?
You're welcome to share it. I am not positive if I will be at the meeting next week, just given some other stuff going on, but I will try to be there for part of it.
Okay. If not, I'll share it. Or Colby can't too. I mean, he worked on this with you, right?
Yeah.
This is great. This is great. Okay. Cool.
And we definitely need to give her the accolades, I think, at the meeting,
Seriously.
but I'm biased.
Well, and I am a little biased too, but I'm very appreciative, and you know, I'm hopeful that we can figure out helpful things. I mean, I had a couple other ideas, like for instance, doing a budget update page, like in addition to the FAQ page under resources, maybe have a, you know, tracking the GTLNC budget so that anyone can go on there and see how much we've committed to so far this year. Because that's a question we get a lot. We also, you know, I sort of made some little thumbnails for each committee that are very generic. You know, they just use free stock images, but I don't know if something that might get community interest would be an art contest to create the thumbnail for each committee.
That would be good, especially in our town.
Yeah, apologies for the siren. Yeah, so something like that to try to get community engagement.
And they can get a free bag if they're.
You win a bag if you're chosen.
Yeah. And I just hope they don't come to an event that we were at. No, just kidding. No, but seriously, I mean, you know.
Okay. Well, you know what we can do too. I mean, I hate 19,000 cooks in the kitchen, but we can also maybe next week we can just ask folks to take a look at the website if they have any suggestions. We don't have to do them all, but certainly ask people for some suggestions if they have any.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Okay. Okay, so if you're there, I'd love it if you shared it and just talked about the things that you did. But if not, I'll do my best to tell all the amazing things that you did to this, because really, truly, it's pretty amazing. So thank you.
Thank you.
And it's idiot proof. Excuse my New York.
Nothing. Now, if I'm on it, it's definitely not idiot proof. I can tell you that. Okay.
No, what I mean is idiot proof is it's anyone can like go and figure out how to get to the Zoom meeting.
Yeah. No,
That's what I meant. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're just trying to make it more navigable. So, you know, any way that we can make it easier for people to find things always helps.
Right. Okay. And then the next item is the content calendar for September to October. So what did we have there?
So I think and I apologize, I feel like I'm monopolizing this.
No,
meeting,
I
I'm not
actually-
the chair.
I'd rather you be the chair and not me. I wish that could be the case.
but this was sort of born out of the idea that, you know, as outreach, we should try to contribute to the content of newsletters. And, you know, I don't know if we are ready to actually start making those contributions, or if we want to come up with a game plan for how to go about coming up with content to submit. You know, obviously Lisa does a really good job, and she's already started talking about the election in the newsletter. So I think that's wonderful. But I don't know if there's anything else that we as a committee think it's important that GTLNC, you know, create content around coming up in the next month.
I mean, Stacey, if you want to get together, then maybe the three of us can chat about that and maybe have a call with Lisa.
I could do that.
I don't know. I just want to be really careful about not doing something that's against Brown Act.
Right.
Just
as I was saying it, I was like, wait a second, we can't actually do anything with the Brown Act. No, I mean, like, just in terms of like finding out what it is that Lisa may want and ideas that she may need, and then we can bring it to the meeting next month.
Yeah, and maybe that's something, you know, coordinate with Robin and Colby on the level of how much time we'd get with Lisa to ask those questions. Just because obviously she is a paid staffer, not a volunteer. So yeah, as long as we get approval to reach out to Lisa and get a little more info about what would help her, I think that would be great. I'd love to see a development of the sort of branding for the election promotion going forward, whether we want to utilize Lisa for that or if someone on the committee can do it. While I have some Canva experience, I am not up for doing a full, like, all of the like little images and posts and stuff for this upcoming election. But if Stacey, Matt, or anyone else involved in GTLNC has graphic design experience and thinks they can put together something really eye-catching, I think that would be great.
Yeah, I definitely don't have that, but we can find out from Lisa what she needs. Okay, I'll reach out to Colby and see if that's possible. If I can. Sorry, my dog is whining. I'm sure you guys can hear that.
Yeah, my cat's about to come in here asking when's dinner.
She's like so upset right now. Anyway,
My cat's sleeping, so
she's very upset because she smells dinner. Yeah, I'll ask Colby if I can talk to Lisa and then just kind of find out what it is that she may need and what help she may want, and then I can bring this back. We can have this conversation next month.
Great.
Okay.
you know, we could do, like, if let's say we do look for someone to do the images for the different committees, maybe we could, if someone does a really good job, maybe we could reach out to them and see if they would be willing to do the images for the elections. Because then we would know what their work looks like.
Sure. That sounds great.
Yeah. That'd
Okay.
be cool.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, I guess then the last item is new business. So does anybody have anything they want to bring up for new business?
I do not.
I do not either.
I don't either.
Jonathan, Ren?
No, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, no.
Okay. This was easy. So the last thing is, which is, I didn't even pay attention to this, is that I'm going to be in Chicago on the 12th, but I should be by 9:30. Well, it's actually 8:30. I don't know if I'll be able to do the meeting on the 12th. So since, hey, stop it. Sorry, my dog. Here. So what do we do in this situation, Catherine? Because otherwise you could have let it, but what do we do?
I mean, in this situation, you can either try to figure out a different date for the next meeting. You can push it later, or you can just wait and see if it seems like you could make it or not.
Yeah, it's not gonna, I'm just not quite sure what the schedule is gonna be that night. And I don't want to cancel it that day. So I think like last time, didn't we move? The problem is,
Yeah, you could move it to the week before.
right. The problem is that's Yom Kippur, of course.
And
And
I'm going to be hungry, so no.
Yeah, right. And then the week after is the day after the meeting. So
I mean, well, why don't you let us know when your trip ends or before, like, just let us know what day works for you and we can work around your schedule.
I think
Yeah, and it's inconvenient, but like if we needed to put it, before or after a different meeting, or move it to, a Thursday one time, like why does Yom Kippur not show up as a holiday in the United States on my little calendar?
it's
Because it's a Jewish holiday.
But I always got school off for the
Yom
Jewish
Kippur is,
holidays.
it's the sunset on the 4th till sunset on the 5th.
right. What about the 6th? Can you guys do the 6th?
I should have gotten rid of my hangriness.
Yeah, I mean the 6th would work for me.
Okay. So by the 6th, we'll all have been fed. Okay. So
Yay! Well, what about your dog?
yeah, I know. She just walked out of the room. She had it.
No, you said that everyone was fed, so.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, yeah. Okay, fine. So then the next meeting, as long as that's okay with you guys, will be October 6th at 6:30.
And maybe let Colby know so that the website can get updated earlier rather than later.
Sure. Okay. That's all I got. So I guess then at 7:17, the meeting is adjourned.
I think that went great.
All right, do my best. I'm doing my best.
All right.